Hello you guys, it's Dani and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is currently 1:30 a.m. because I am a crazy person and I like to stay up late and then wake up at like noon. So as you can tell from the title, this video is all about trying to heal as fast as possible, or why you should stop trying to rush your way into being completely healed. This is something I've really been dealing with since really starting to do this inner work. And as I was just in meditation, right over there on that couch, I really felt the call and inspiration to make this video because I got a pretty cool perspective in terms of what this healing journey is really about. First off, obviously this pressure to heal as fast as possible comes from me. There's this need or desire to achieve, and because I felt so ashamed of myself and in my head for so many years, when I finally went through this awakening and I started to really work on myself, I got a lot of pride in becoming more self-aware, in reaching different states of consciousness that not only had I never experienced before, but I didn't even know was possible in the way it was. And as I'm really starting to do this inner work, I got this sense of accomplishment every single time I felt like I improved or I healed or I learned something from a spiritual teacher. By thinking about healing and by thinking about spirituality, we almost kind of fool ourselves into thinking that thinking about these things means that like we're changing, when really those thoughts, it's like, I don't want to discredit the excitement. And I don't want to discredit those thoughts because it's not necessarily that they're bad or unaligned or just from the ego. However, that excitement is something the ego recognizes and it can latch itself onto it so that the ego is controlling your mind as opposed to you really being the one who has power over your body and over your mind. The ego will frame itself as the light or as spiritual knowledge or wisdom and apply real things that you see or real things that you experience and twist them in a way where you're not following your higher self. You're following your ego or you're following an entity, right? So next up, I really want to dig into the thought process that at least I experience that goes into why we really rush into healing and then really revealing why it's not the best method. So it kind of starts with the thought of I'm unhappy or I'm unsatisfied, basically meaning you don't feel like you're living a life that brings you fulfillment and brings you satisfaction. Maybe you feel a general meh. So we recognize, okay, I know that I don't feel great because there's still beliefs that I hold that are connected to traumatic events or societal/family conditioning. And by releasing those things, I will no longer be controlled or bogged down by them. Then the next thought we're led to is better beliefs and action brings me my ideal life. So this is coming from the perspective of when I heal, I'm going to achieve my dreams. I'll be wealthy. I'll be famous. I'll be accepted. I'll feel like I belong. I'll have so many friends. I'll find my soulmate. And here is where the real problem comes in. When we think of our ideal life, we often don't think of it from the perspective of the higher self. We think of it from the perspective of the ego. We think of it from the perspective of our human. What we really want, and the final thought that I wrote down in this series, what we really want is to be happy, to feel satisfied, to feel like our life is enough. I feel fulfilled. Life is never going to be perfect. Life is never going to be without pain or without challenge, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to feel an overall peace with our lives. money and fame and a soulmate and all these things that you think are going to be your ideal life are not going to fill that void inside of you. They're not going to suddenly make you feel fulfilled, which means that you don't need to be completely healed to be rich, to be famous, to find your soulmate. You don't have to be completely healed to experience these things. So imagine you have all these things and you feel exactly the same. Is that much of an improvement from where you are now? Maybe from a physical standpoint, yes. But from a true standpoint of you, is your life any better? And if you think it is, then fine. But what I truly believe is at the end of the day, what we all want is to feel good. We want that to be the energy that is the primary underlying experience of our daily lives. When we try to rush to be healed, we're rushing because we're trying to outrun the problems that exist right now. When we're trying to rush to achieve a certain standard or achieve our best life in terms of a physical sense, we often create this idea out of ego of what our best life looks like and tell ourselves we have to be completely healed in order to achieve that best life. And all we're doing is running in circles and chasing our own tail. If you are trying to heal in order to achieve a specific image of a physical life you have in mind, you're never going to be happy. Because the moment you achieve those physical things, you'll realize that you don't feel that much different than you did 5 years ago. Now you just have all these things or people that you're around. And sure, that's going to be awesome. And there's going to be a honeymoon phase. But if you haven't really felt your shit, you are going to be exactly where you were from an energetic standpoint. So, what do we do? And I'm going to give you the answer that you have heard a million times, but it's because it's so true. And hopefully the perspective I add really helps you embody why this is so important. The real key to healing as fast as possible is to be present. Rushing to heal and trying to heal as fast as possible is only prolonging your journey. Being present is going to get you there at bullet speed. If you become present, all of the shit that's even causing you to chase and repel the life and the experience you want has no choice but to almost like encapsulate you or come through you, and then you get to feel those emotions and release those beliefs, because all of that shit happens in the now. None of that shit happens by being stuck in your head or by watching some YouTube video. And yeah, I'm not saying like a video can certainly trigger an awakening for you that gives you a greater capacity to feel those things and to be more present. However, it's not a substitute. I've spent a lot of time listening to and watching other spiritual content creators or other spiritual / self-help teachers like Elizabeth April, Phil Good, Teal Swan, other people that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. And while I think it's really great to hear other perspectives, I mean, obviously here I am like sharing my perspective with you. Obviously I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think it was valuable. However, there are times where I would feel behind in my journey and I would feel like I'm not doing enough, and then I would seek refuge in another teacher's videos to escape my present moment. So if maybe I wasn't feeling good or I felt like I'm not doing well on my journey, I would continue to watch hours upon hours of content from these teachers to try to supplement the fact that I wasn't really being present with what I was experiencing, and I was using this content as a way to delay me transmuting these energies within myself. So I'm watching videos about how to deal with trauma and not actually being present with that trauma. And I still fuck up. I was doing that today. But you know what I did? I was watching videos and continued clicking and continued searching, even though I knew it wasn't really aligned to me in that moment. And then finally, at a certain point, I was like, I've had enough of this. I'm gonna close my laptop. And I sat on that couch and I meditated for maybe like half an hour. And in doing that, yeah, sure, I didn't necessarily make the most aligned decision at every point in my day. But even just from making that small adjustment to after unconsciously clicking on those videos to say, you know what, I know I don't want to do this anymore, so I'm going to close my computer and really make an effort to be present right now. And by doing that, I'm reinforcing that behavior so that I do become more present in a way where I can heal. And it sucks because being present is really fucking hard, especially when we live in a day and age where we have this device at our side at pretty much all times. Even though from one perspective it's a gift, it also really highlights the fact that so many of us are never really here in the now. We're in thought world of, oh, I need to do this and achieve this and create this future. Or I can't believe I did that. Oh, I should have done that instead. Oh, this happened in the past. How much time are people really spending in the right now? I can tell you from my personal experience, not much, if at all. I think when I went through my awakening was probably the first time that I had been present in years. I didn't even know what it was like because I'd always been distracted or thinking about something. And to change that pattern and that behavior that has helped us, navigate and survive this world for our entire lives is such a hard thing to reverse. There's no secret thing you can do to just completely heal yourself. The only secret is right now. Feel yourself like sitting in that chair. Feel the discomfort that comes up when you think about like clicking out of this video right now. Don't do it. I see you. Do not click out of this video. I'm totally kidding. You can click out if you want, but we haven't gotten to the best part, okay? So you're missing out. Whatever, like your loss. I'm kidding. If you need to be present, beach, do that, okay? Love you. I don't care. I do care, but I love you regardless. Okay, let's continue. Being present is really a practice. It takes time and effort and continuously bringing yourself back to the present moment in order to really make that a natural state. I still get so frustrated when I'm sitting in meditation and 5 minutes, I think, or so, I have no idea, a certain amount of time goes by and I realize that in that amount of time, I wasn't meditating. I was thinking about a YouTube video I was watching, or I was thinking about random shit, or what I should be doing with my future, what I should be doing with my life, what I did in the past that I wish I changed, or whatever. It's so frustrating because it's like, God, I'm trying to be present and I'm not even being present. But that's okay. That is a normal and expected part of the process. The more you're present, the more you're creating room and space for all the trauma and all the conditioning and all that shit to come up. Even me sitting there thinking about a YouTube video can be seen as like a little clue into like my conditioning. And even though worrying about the future or dwelling on the past isn't being present, it doesn't mean that it's bad or it's unaligned. Obviously, like worrying about the future and dwelling on the past, those are unconscious behaviors. We worry about the future because we're logically and mentally trying to control an outcome or predict a certain outcome. And the fact that the future is unknown is really fucking terrifying because our ego or our conditioning at this point in our life does not trust that it's gonna work out. We don't trust that the universe has our back, or that we're going to be able to be in a place where we're taken care of. That's unconscious. That's a result of simply our conditioning. There are moments where I've been in meditation and I've been brought back to a past experience or a past memory, and usually I don't even fully remember the memory. All I really remember is maybe the setting or a person, but most of all, the feeling. The feeling comes up in my body, and when we worry about the future, we're getting so caught up in what it physically looks like. You may even be a person that tells yourself, oh no, I'm totally open to so many different things happening in my future, nah, 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 nah. Let's say you're a college student, and let's say that you're going to school to become a therapist. However, your higher self or your highest timeline or what your best self would do is not being a therapist. Maybe your best self is traveling the world and giving talks to a bunch of different people about your experiences. This is not even a life that you can imagine or fathom or even think is possible for you. So you're doing the thing you feel like you should do in order to be a therapist. You're thinking, oh, I'm gonna make so much money, I'm gonna be helping people, I know that this is my calling. Yeah, maybe there's other things I can do, but based on what makes sense for me right now, I'm gonna get this degree and do this. The thing is, are you fooling yourself into doing that because it's easy? And I don't mean easy in terms of workload easy, I mean in terms of, is this what your fear and your trauma is driving you towards? Or is this truly what your higher self is driving you towards? Do you feel like you need to get that college degree in order to make your parents proud, or in order to believe that you're good enough? Or you feel like you need to get this degree because you have a limiting belief that in order to be successful, you have to get a college degree or you have to get a PhD. When we have this attachment to a specific future reality, even if we tell ourselves that we don't, two things can happen. You're either going to create what you think you want, then get there and realize that your life does not feel any better than it did before you were at that physical result. Or you're going to fail to create that situation and then feel like you're not good enough and therefore confirm all of the limiting beliefs you had that was trying to push you towards this reality. And I'm going to be quite honest, there are moments where I'm not positive as to whether or not YouTube or making content like this is something I'm going to do forever. All I know is that I'm doing this right now because it feels right. I'm so interested in talking about these topics, and I'm so grateful to have a platform and an audience who's interested in listening. At first, when this happened, it's like, oh, my video went viral and a bunch of people are subscribed to me. So this means that this is what I'm supposed to do for my career. Yeah, maybe it won't be forever. Maybe I'll like get a job doing this, or become a script writer, or become a singer, or like, yeah, there's so many things I can do with my future. I don't even know what I want to do, but I'm gonna have a career in making content like this. But the moment I say, oh, in 5 years from now, I'm still gonna be making content and be making a full-time living on YouTube, I'm attaching myself to that reality. That's not to say that reality is wrong, but how can I truly be present if I'm worrying about getting to that timeline? If I believe that I need to be fully healed in order to be making a living online, then I'm not gonna get there. Not until I'm fully healed, whatever the fuck that means. From the perspective I'm talking about, I think there's just releasing your trauma and releasing your programming. I mean, what is healing other than like transmuting energy? Fully healed is this destination to which you'll never arrive. I think what we really want is to be living a life of ease and alignment, and a life that feels like yes. But that life, and the life that feels most like yes to you, may not be what you're envisioning. So the more attached you get to that vision, the harder it's going to be for you to really accept the life that you have right now. I said this a couple videos ago. There are moments where I feel so aligned and so like high vibe and I'll be walking down the street and just feel so much love and presence. And in those states, I feel like my soul. And then there's moments where I feel super dark and God and very in my head, very much wanting to get rid of the feelings I'm feeling. And I get to choose what I energize. You today can be at the highest vibration and be your best self today, in the present moment, at this current period of your life. You can experience really high states of consciousness and really beautiful feelings and emotions and peace. And yeah, maybe you're at a point in your life or at a point in your conditioning where you're gonna have a lot of pain and emotions to deal with looking forward, but why not just be here now? Because when you're here now, those emotions will come up when they're ready for you to feel them and address them and transmute them. And they'll settle when it's not time to address them. Your best self isn't you in 10 or 20 or 50 years or something that you'll have to wait for another lifetime to experience. Your best self is right here. You're it. You are your best self with all of this conditioning overlapping it. And your best self, your higher self, you are here to help guide you through that. It's not linear. It's not outside of you. You don't have to run. Because when you're running, you're just running from yourself. Because the more you run from yourself, the further you run away from all the secrets that are gonna hand you that life that you're so desperately trying to look for. Oh, I still look cute. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. You are here like looking around like, oh God, I need to find my future. Oh God, I need to build the life I want to create. Oh no, what am I gonna do? And meanwhile, you, like your inner child, your conditioning, your higher self, all the parts of you that are ready for you to address or face it are standing behind you like, yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo. And you're like purposefully trying to not look at it so you don't have to feel the shittiness that you would have to experience by really being present with it. But that thing that you're turning your back to has all the answers and all the secrets that are gonna create that life. It has the whole manual and pamphlet on all the shit you're gonna do to live your best life. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm really glad that you came on here today. I do want to say, there's a little join button next to the subscribe button. You know what that button does? If you click on it, you'll see that you can give me money. You will see that I now have a YouTube memberships program. Yay! If you want access to members only videos, and if you want access to I don't know, private live streams and Q&A videos that I'm going to be doing for members only, which I'm really excited about. And you'll see all the perks in that little description box. But my point is, if you want to support me and if you want to support this channel, and if you just want some extra content, then feel free to join. It would mean a lot to me. And if not, I'm going to continue to make the content I already do, and I love you just the same. Thank you guys for watching. love and gratitude to each and every one of you. And that's it. Bye-bye. Oh, did not mean to flip you off. Cut. Sleeping Beauty. Oh God, are you licking your armpit? You fucking nasty. No. Okay, anyways, my shadow is blocking shadow. Inception shadow. Oh no. Oh, by the way, it's 2:35. Anyways, love you. Bye.